Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while. I'll probably do an update video attachment to this. But anyways, Jessica Jones, Season 3, the kind of finale to all this Marvel Netflix experiment, so to speak. And joining me today is Najir. How's it going, man?
What's up, Chris? How's it going?
Doing pretty good. DJ Sue should be joining in soon once he figures out whatever he's figuring out and stuff. Oh, there it is.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry about that. Microphone was being microphone.
All right, DJ Sue is here. How's it going, sir?
Oh, quite well. Let's do this thing.
Yeah, so Daredevil and Jessica Jones were kind of like the first two shows that kind of brought in the Marvel Netflix experiment. And these are two shows that got 3 seasons, and I would say more than anything else, they were able to kind of get a sort of finality to them, so to speak. Unlike, Luke Cage and Iron Fist, which kind of ended on kind of cliffhanger-ish levels and stuff. But
actually, when I think about it, could you say that that both Jessica Jones and Daredevil, they were the experiments. They were the Netflix experiments that set the stage for Luke Cage.
Well, the thing of it is, we were already initially from jump, we were already set in stone getting Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica, and Daredevil. So that was already set in stone. Everything else extra, like Punisher and Defenders, was just extra stuff that they kind of threw in during this whole experiment. So those 4 were already always in play in the first place. So.
Okay, because I was kind of wondering, like, what would have happened if, let's say, God forbid, both of those shows like flopped somehow. And Netflix is very quick to pull something and drop it, at the first sign of trouble.
Yeah. So, but anyway, season 3 happened, and it, like I said, it ended on a pretty good finality, so to speak. And I know a lot of folks enjoyed this season more than season 2 and stuff. But I guess starting with Najir and stuff, what was your overall thoughts about this season?
So it was the unexpected season for me because after everything got canceled, I almost forgot that this didn't. So when I found out it was there, I was like, oh, okay. And then it was like the bitter taste from season 2. And typically, you're a fan of stuff like this. You just watch it anyway. But it did take a little bit of reviews and motivation for me to get into it. But immediately within the first 2 episodes, I was like, I felt a little like the novelty I felt when I watched season 1. And also too, we got to give like big ups to Christian Rittner, who actually directed some of the episodes. So, And to that point, I feel like it really captured her strong suits in being the actress. So I just felt like season 2 really didn't happen to me because season 1 and season 3, the continuity between the comic book characters and at least what I know of them, and even introducing characters I wasn't unsure of, and just tying it all together, it just flowed much better. It flowed like how I guess we all expected all these series were going to be outside of like Iron Fist.
Yeah.
So again, I enjoyed it all the way through. It was good for it to be back to where it should have been.
Yeah. What about you, Sue?
I felt more so the same. Like I like this outing of season 3. Like it kind of felt like we were taken right back to basics of season 1. Of course everything picked up like where season 2 ended with the whole thing of Jessica's mother getting killed by the one person that she would have suspected would be the one to do it, her own friend / sister, and then just to see the whole thing come down to the finale of them two going at it, I kind of felt like, well, that was kind of anticlimactic how she just stops her in the end.
Yeah, it's anticlimactic, but I kind of enjoyed that a little bit just because it kind of threw you off a little bit. Like, oh, okay, all right, cool. I guess this is how it ends. I'm fine.
I was like, no. I'm like, nothing. Like, cause I'm looking at I'm looking at my girl Patsy. Like, nothing, no surprise, pocket sand in the face, nothing. Nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
all it took was for you getting Undertaker style choke slammed and you're done.
Yeah.
Guess them experimental superpowers that you got worked on while you were in a coma. That just proves the limits of them. That all it takes is a choke slam and she's down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say this was the season where everybody kind of went back to what they were really good at. Like, I guess we're starting off with with Jerry. She's basically continuing her usual dirtbag shenanigans that she's always been on since the first season. She's dying of what was it? What's the name of the disease?
ALS.
ALS, yeah, ALS.
And she's doing this thing where she's latching on to somebody that she previously dealt with in the past and stuff. And she does her usual Jerry self-destruction thing where she fucks up somebody else's life and in the process botches up the good thing that she had.
Well said, actually.
Yeah, I mean,
which, like, to be honest, which was to be expected.
Well, yeah. I mean, and that was the wild part about it. Like, you're kind of sitting back, like, I shouldn't be shocked by this, but it is what it is and stuff. And I'm kind of glad that ultimately, Jerry is just kind of left in this position where she's more or less by herself at this stage. Like, the homegirl that she ends up hooking up with, I think was it oh my god, how did I forget her?
That was Kith.
Yeah, Kith. They have this budding relationship, and her husband, they're married, but they kind of have, her and Kith and Jerry have this infidelity thing, and then boom, Jerry finds out, like she always does, that her husband has been stealing money from the contributions to the scholarship fund and stuff, and using it to basically fuck younger chicks and stuff. So
like my man was smashing, since he's a professor, he's gonna be smashing young co-eds or whatever in his office. And at the same time you're stealing money from your dead daughter's charity. Like, how scumbaggy can you get?
I mean, now I have to
you just could have been happy with just being in an open marriage and just running with that.
Now I have to ask y'all this: were y'all expecting it to kind of blow up in? I mean, you expected to blow up in Jerry's face, but were y'all expecting it to blow up the way it did with Kif's husband, basically blowing up Jerry's spot?
No, I didn't. Well, no, I kind of expected him to show up. Now, did I expect for him to go on the internet and pretty much and broadcast his own suicide and say that she was to blame for it? No.
I mean, he blew up her spot twice, busted up in the freaking apartment, and then the second time, murder-suicide with the confession. I mean, yeah,
But you know what? You were kind of left with that hidden message. I guess we were given that foreshadowing when he looked at her dead in the eye and said, "You can't have her." And then she looked back at him like, "Okay, idle threat. Neither can you."
I mean,
it's like, no. You really don't understand. I have nothing else left to lose. You are not gonna have her. Period. Yeah. I will see that.
Man,
I was gonna say, like, yes, were we surprised? I did at a point. I felt like, this feels like a traditional Lifetime movie right here.
Oh, right? Yeah, where the guy, where you're supposed to be mad at the guy. You look at the guy and go, okay, it's a Lifetime movie. I'm supposed to be angry at the guy. Yeah. The guy's a total dirtbag, total scumbag. I'm supposed to hate him and side with the chick. And this is the flip side of Lifetime. This is the after hours Lifetime where the girls are the scumbags and we got to side with the dude. Like, I'm feeling sympathetic for the husband.
You feel sympathetic for the husband, but I'm like, well, they're both dirtbags, so it's like, who's the lesser of two evils? I mean, they're both fucking evil, so it's like, who's the lesser of it? It's like, well, the husband, because he's just doing what we typically society sees men do. It's just like, oh, infidelity. Okay, whatever.
But you can't really call it infidelity if they're in an open marriage. So
yeah. I mean, but with Jerry, her having that deep, meaningful relationship. I mean, look, Kif was sitting up there playing that violin, and I'm like, Jerry is looking at her like she about ready to go.
First of all, you should have known that Jerry was willing to she was willing to risk it all. The moment she sat down, pulled that dress back just to expose her, from the kneecap down while she was playing that cello. I'm like, and here we go.
Yeah.
Gonna be a little piggish on this one. She was kind of exposing that thigh meat a little bit.
I know, right?
Gotta throw that in there a little bit. It's like, hey, women know what they're doing when they do that shit. So she knew what was up.
I was like, that's how I looked at it too. I was like, all right, both of y'all know what y'all doing. Like, you knew from the beginning when she said, I remember back when we were in college and you played that cello and you were completely nude. I'm like, yeah, go ahead. I'm like, I get it, Netflix. Stop foreshadowing. Stop telling me. Stop leading me. I know what's gonna happen.
Well, it was like you kind of expected like what's going to be the sex scene for this season. Like last season, we saw Malcolm and Trish go at it a little bit and all that stuff. And so it's like this season's like, all right, who's going to have a sex scene? And it's Jerry, of course.
You know what kind of had me mad about that? About the whole Malcolm and Trish thing is I look at Trish like, why did you go and mess that up?
Well, see, that was the drugs and all that shit. Because season 2, I'm going to be real about this and stuff. I should have emphasized it when we did our spoiler thing a couple of years ago on that. Season 2 was just like, yo, everybody is being messy as fuck.
Right?
Seriously. Everybody was being messy as shit. And this season 3 was everybody like, man, I really fucked up. I got to do better, So except for Jerry, like, again, she's still... And the funny thing was, in a way, is that even when Kit's son kind of, was like, hey, I really want you to help my mom out and all that stuff, ultimately, it still didn't work in Jerry's favor because Kit was still kind of like, yeah, thanks for helping, but you're still a piece of shit, so, yeah.
And I got to give it up to Kit's son for, my man was hurt. He just lost his father. But bruh, did you have to smack the tray of Einstein bagels out of Jerry's hands?
Perfectly good bagels. Perfectly good New York bagels. Just
perfectly good bagel.
I haven't touched the bagel in a while.
She even tried to be nice about it. She's like, look, can you just look, I understand you don't want me to come in the house. I understand your mom doesn't want me to doesn't want to see me. Just at least take the bagel, smack. I'm like, bro, there was no salvaging that tray.
If I was Jerry, I would have put like, saran wrap on the top of it to keep that from happening. But yeah, that's the shorter end of it with Jerry. It's nothing really to go into it and stuff. Like if they did a season 4, I think Jerry would have still been doing what she did anyway, with just somebody different. But I will appreciate the show for keeping her consistent in terms of what she does and stuff, because it's like, wow, she is a lawyer and stuff. She still is about her selfishness. I mean, to the point that she was representing fucking Salinger. And I'm sitting there like, What are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? This guy kills people. This guy's Dexter killing people. What are we doing here, man?
It's not even just the fact that she was representing him. She was representing all sorts of scummy people that had no business walking.
This is scum more than... I mean, but that was the thing. I guess this is a good translation for Malcolm. Malcolm is basically her security guy. And Malcolm... With season 1, he kind of changed over and was like, yo, I'm making all this money. I'm not a druggie anymore. I clean myself up. I realized my potential working with Jerry. And he's basically kind of like Jerry's cleaner and stuff. I mean, we see him begin at, I think, episode 1. He gets this dude out of this car accident. He gives the car to, the guy that dude hit. And it was like, this is your life. This is what it is.
That was dope.
Not just any car, bro. That was a full on. Right? That was a full on Escalade.
Yeah, it was Escalade.
Yeah, it was a full Escalade, a cream color Escalade. He's like, look,
take it to this
as long
garage.
As you keep, take it to this garage. Tell him I sent you. It's yours. It's no longer his. This is yours. As long as you keep this between yourself and us. Don't say it. Don't even mention it to nobody.
Okay.
So and I'm like, you know what? That is a nice upgrade. I'm like, you know what I would do? I would take this Escalade. I'll get it fixed up, go sell it, get the money from it, get something cheap, and keep rolling. Like, just keep moving. Basically, Malcolm was this season's episode. This season's Jessica Jones. He was Mike from Breaking Bad.
Oh, he really was. I mean, because he... got his nice little girlfriend and stuff like that. They're kind of like being the power couple and stuff, which I was like, oh man, I'm really happy for this guy and stuff. And but
shit, that was going to last long.
I thought it was, even though they were going to have their troubles. But like, I'm gonna be real. Hey Malcolm, man, what was with the downgrade with Homegirl? Like, you go from
All right, now.
assistant to the prostitute, that's a
Look,
downgrade. Like, you're supposed
hey,
to
look.
upgrade,
Now,
not downgrade. Like, I don't get this.
You know what, Niger?
now,
Niger,
now
I'm gonna
to,
let you
to
go.
his character
I
defense.
I was gonna say,
it-
Niger, I'm gonna let you go ahead and handle that. I'm gonna piggyback off of that. Go ahead.
Yeah, to basically what you just said, actually, to his defense, I guess he kind of sympathized a little, considering her nature of being out there wanting it. First of all, he's kind of being a superhero in his own, just doing due diligence on the streets and
Yeah.
kind of saved her. And I felt like he probably resonated with her maybe just a little bit because he comes from a druggy background too. So he knows the ideal of he's been nothing. He's been around all the domestic violence, seeing her getting her ass beat. He wants to be a hero. He's losing his mind, but at the same time, so it's like, yeah, kind of the same. Like we both had our struggles, whatever. And he's even kind of resentful to her as well too. But like, I don't know. I guess in a matter of being around so many powered people, I guess he's just like, I got to do my own in an extent without actually proclaiming it.
I mean, I give him credit a little bit too. I guess when he ease up on the aspect that he did feel conflicted throughout this whole season of what he wanted to do with his life and what he actually wanted. Because even his girl was like, "What do you want?" Like,
Yeah,
you know. So, all right, I'll ease up a little bit, but I'm still kind of like, come on, man. Like,
I mean, all right, and to go, I guess from my take, I mean, bruh. First of all, as soon as she unzipped them pants and went to town, my man got that phone call. You already know what was going through his mind. He's like, you know what? I should answer. Like, oh, yep, she already hit the sweet spot. I'm face down on that phone. Yeah, I'm locked.
She pulled homeboy.
I'm locked.
She pulled homeboy from fucking Goodfellas. Oh, okay.
Okay, yep. And then on top of that, let's be real. Yeah, she was messy, and yeah, she does come from a similar background of his. To his credit, to his defense, wasn't his whole druggy background, like, wasn't he under the mind control of Kilgrave?
No, basically in the first season he was doing drugs, and he was kind of sort of cleaning himself up, like he was halfway there and stuff. And then as it got to the middle point of the season, actually no, it was when Kilgrave took control of him and Jessica snapped him out of it. That's when he cleaned himself up, basically.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's been under control of Kilgrave.
Yeah. No, well, he actually
more or less.
I think it was like episode 2 or 3 in the first season. That's when Kilgrave controlled him for that hot second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was only because Kilgrave wanted him to leave a message for Jessica and stuff, and she snapped him out of it and stuff. But like at that point, that's when he was like, "Fuck, I gotta get myself cleaned up. This is ridiculous."
All right. Well, then going back to his current situation in this season, now you can look at it and say, yeah, we had our nice applaud moment for Black Love, but at the same time, white girl was thick.
I mean,
there's no, dude, you can't get around that, man.
I mean, yeah, but it's still a downgrade, man. Like,
First of all, he wasn't. Look, he wasn't technically saving anything. He wasn't about no type of commitment. He was just out here just like, again, I felt like he was just like, man, I'm just trying to make my keeps out here. Everybody else doing superhero stuff, and I'm conflicted. And you know what's kind of funny too? He's actually conflicted doing like positivity while Trish is out here conflicted fucking everything up.
Yep. Yeah. Especially when she gets to the end, when she finally gets caught and she goes, oh my God.
I'm the bad guy.
I am the bad guy.
I was like, what the?
Like, how does this work again?
No.
I was so done. Done.
No, see, Nigel, when she said that, I said, oh, now you figured that out? I'm like, took you long enough, but going back to Malcolm, yes, he was conflicted. She was conflicted. But on Malcolm's side of things, like, you know what? If I was working for any other law firm and I wasn't dealing with Jerry, I probably, and the girl that I'm currently dating, it was in the same organization as I am, I probably wouldn't feel as conflicted. If I wasn't running around doing some underhanded stuff like this and feeling bad about it, and then feeling like, the girl I'm dating in the same company, I'm feeling kind of inadequate, like I don't belong in her world, and I don't even belong in this world in general.
Yeah, I mean, and I think by the time you got to the end of the season, Malcolm kind of figured out where he's sitting at and stuff, because, he's sitting up there telling this girl, I love her and stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're going to get back. And in the back of my head, I was like, "Oh shit, is Barry still inside?" And
You know
still
she was in the
there.
house, dude.
He's like, "Hey,
Dude,
you got any butter?" And I'm like, "Oh,
the
wrong
first
timing,
sign,
wrong timing, no."
the first sign that you knew she was in the house was when he said, "You need to leave, or you shouldn't be here." I'm like, she's in the house.
Yeah.
Even though she said it's kind of in the range, bruh. I'm like, look, sorry, Barry, you're saying this to a black woman. There is nothing you can say that's gonna make her be cool with this.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, shout outs to him. He did experience a lot of growth and stuff, so I will definitely always appreciate him, his character and stuff. Like I said, I like the guy. He was a Red Ranger from Power Rangers RPM, so I'm liking that he was able to show different. We've seen his growth from season 1 all the way up to now and stuff where he's at. So,
I think it's a really good point to say anybody who has been a Power Ranger who's been given any type of adult role, I hope that's not a slander, has really flourished to say that starting role for them has really produced a lot of good people.
oh yeah,
Looking down the line.
that show has, especially when it came down to the later seasons and stuff, mostly a lot of the New Zealanders and stuff, because it's funny, a lot of the New Zealanders that were in Power Rangers, they've been in other shows. Like, they've been in a lot of those Australian, New Zealand production shows. So I think one of them was in the show with Chris Hemsworth from like years ago before he got found and stuff. So yeah, that whole production company out there in Australia is like no joke. There's like a ton of shows that popped up out there and stuff. Shout out to Jillian, Jessica's secretary. I love that she basically didn't take any shit off of Jessica.
Oh, I love Jillian.
Underrated character in this. I almost forgot about her. Definitely enjoyed her sternness and her like wittiness and their personality. It was great. It was what the show needed at the times where Jessica, to her character, was so vanilla that you just like it's starting to feel like a horror movie because it's so quiet. And if somebody don't jump through this door and kill somebody, I ain't gonna know what. And obviously, since she got stabbed up in the beginning, now I got to be honest. I was like, yo, at some point she gonna get got again randomly like that. So like her character was absolutely who we needed to kind of keep things moderate here.
Yeah, I mean, because even though her character early on in the season, she does quit, it was like a hot second she quit because she popped back up again later on. Like, all right, it seems like everything cooled out. I'm back as a secretary now. So we're good, right?
I did like when she was back at the office. She's like, it's after hours. What are you doing here? I like working with Trish. I was like, this is fun for me. I'm not paying you extra. I don't care. Right. I'm having fun.
Because she was doing that shit out of spite of Jessica. Like, she knows Jessica hates Trish at this moment, so she's just doing this out of spite. This is funny.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Mike Coulter coming back as, Luke Cage.
I'm gonna say for
looking all like, iceberg slimish.
I'm gonna say for first of all, you know how everybody be going off on Steve Harvey's suits, like, his suits are the ones to get? Nah, bro. I want Luke Cage's suit. I need that.
It could be a Steve Harvey suit and we don't even know it.
I don't know.
He's already a big dude, so them Steve Harvey suits are basically tight fit for him anyway, so it's all
good.
Steve Harvey is a Q. We know a lot of the Qs are typically some of the bigger athletes out there in the world. It wouldn't be surprised if he has a custom line for the more of the bigger athletic built people.
I mean, plus we know Luke Cage gets his suits from Dapper Dan anyway, so these things we know. But him being in Jessica Jones season 3, I was like shocked in a way because I was like, all right, Luke, what are you here for? And I like that he was just kind of there to kind of give her a pep talk of what she needed to do.
Yeah,
it'd have been cool though. It would have been cool though if he showed up and he's like, need some help. I'm like,
well, who's he gonna team up against? I mean, come on.
He did do that though. He did say, I'm seeing your name all over the place. I'm here to help. But at the conclusion of Luke Cage, we seen him, and I don't know if he got Dross power, but at a sense of like, now he's more of that business owner, New York style mogul. Yeah. He's like, I don't need to get my hands wet. So he's just coming to check on a friend, give advice, and he's rolling out. He's not unbuttoning the suit. So like it plays. it played perfect here.
It did play perfect, but check it out, Nigel. Now, how awesome would that have been if he said, "You need some help?" My man pulls out that gym bag. You already know what's in there, that hoodie.
I wouldn't have liked that.
No, for old time's sake.
I mean, the only thing you've been there for is just hanging
that.
back. Yeah, that's all I've been doing, just hanging back, watching. He ain't gonna be fighting and stuff. So it's it ain't like season 1 where it was like, oh, they got in a bar fight. Oh, he's helping Jessica find the dude's, brother and stuff, and they gotta fight a bunch of drug dealers. All right, fine, cool, whatever and stuff.
And she needed the more support because she wasn't taking on the army. She was basically solving a mystery for 10 episodes.
I mean, it was kind of closure a little bit too, because even in Defenders, they talk for a minute. It was kind of like, all right, they talked for a minute, but there was so much stuff happening in Defenders, they didn't get a chance to really like talk. So this was kind of like the definitive, all right, they got a little bit of closure. And again, it kind of goes back to what I felt about the season. If they did do a season 4, I got a feeling they both would have hooked up. Especially where they kind of left off at.
Probably.
Possibly too, but also why they didn't talk, I mean, they both were like kind of shady towards each other in communication. So, and again, while she's still progressing in her same mentality, remember, Luke Cage, again, has taken on a mantle of being like a figure for like a whole sector or whatever they call it, a whole territory.
Like for that whole borough of
barrels, thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. So like, again, I just feel like it just would have been kind of like injustice to how Luke Cage ended, where we see him like, I'm the new boss. And bosses don't get their hands dirty, but that's why I like the scene, because it was just like, I'm doing you a solid because I'm all the way over here, wherever hell, and I'm just, making sure friend's good because you doing all, and on top of that, he could have called her. We could have had a call scene. So it was like, I see you still, and I still got your back, but I'm here for verbal support this time.
Yeah.
I guess it goes.
I don't know. I guess the reason why I feel that way, why I feel the way I feel is because we got robbed of a season 2. Yeah, everything really. We got robbed of season 2 of Defenders. They could have gave us a second season. I get it, Netflix. This was the most expensive show you guys have ever produced.
That ain't true. Since 8 exists. Since 8 is the most expensive show. Yeah. They had to film in 8 different places.
Well, wait a minute, Nigel. Which one came out first? Since 8 or Defenders?
Since 8, I believe.
Since 8 first and then Defenders.
Yeah, I think Since 8 was like one of the first 4K series that they had on Netflix too.
Well,
I'm guessing. Too.
Well, okay, I take that back. I guess when I misspoke. In their defense, this was the most expensive Marvel show that they put together.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess we're getting to our final 4 characters and stuff. So we got Eric Gilden, and we got Gregory Salinger. 2 people who crossed paths with Jessica. Salinger being the serial killer, which I did enjoy him as a villain. Like I said, he ain't the Purple Man, but he's somebody that actually is smart as hell and always a step ahead, more or less, with Jessica and Trish to a degree, which makes him very dangerous. And then you got Eric, who basically has powers that kind of gives him kind of like precognitive powers to kind of figure out who's bad and who's good and things like that and stuff. He gets these little headaches and stuff. I thought Eric was all right. He was a character. I won't say that I necessarily enjoyed him like that, but he was fine. I didn't really have any issue with him.
I thought it was fine too. I didn't think, even though I kind of missed Homeboy from season 2, who was he was Trish's boyfriend at the time.
Oh yeah, J.R. Ramirez.
Yeah,
he was kind of like, he was just basic Oscar. He was there for like a hot second, and it's kind of a shame they didn't kind of expand on their relationship, because that was something that they left off with at the end of the last season on it and stuff. So it was like, we're not gonna go on that. All right, cool.
I was waiting for I was like, is he gonna come back somehow in the 3rd season?
I mean, so there's that. But yeah, Eric was alright and stuff. Like I said, he's supposed to be I think his character was Mind Wave, which is the power set is more or less the same. Psionic precog powers and stuff. But Salinger is really the one that piqued my interest a little bit, because he's kind of like most villains that we've seen before a little bit, in that they feel as though these characters shouldn't have powers, and that they didn't work hard, so to speak, to get these powers and get the, legitimacy that they got and stuff. And I do enjoy the fact that Salinger kind of made people remember it. Hey, Jessica can basically get stabbed and shot in the face and die, basically.
Yep.
So, and the fact that she lost a spleen, and I was like, and you're still drinking.
I like how.
Are you judging, sir?
I'm not judging. I'm just saying, no spleen. The doctors was just like, hey, you need to drink a lot of water because you don't have a spleen. All right, and then she just drinking Jim Beam.
Yeah.
I did like how every time she kept drinking, she just kept going, what does a spleen even do?
Yeah. Also, I like the fact that drinking did actually catch up to her, and the fatigue hit her when she passed out on it. So that was good because I was like, at some point now, she's just going to just be Andre the Giant here and can drink more liquor than anybody possible in the world.
That would have been my nitpick if they didn't show her like falling out from that, because she really did try to like power through that stuff, thinking drinking was going to save her, and then.
Yeah, crazy.
Pass out and stuff like that. So I mean, Salinger, like I said, Salinger was fine. I like that. And this is actually a good transition. I like that what he did, it didn't go in the way that he wanted it to go, because ultimately this season is kind of the Uncle Ben with great power comes great responsibility. And Trish clearly could not handle the responsibility of these powers because she ends up being the one cracking under pressure by Salinger, not Jessica.
Yeah, dude. Cracking that, you know what, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, she cracked under pressure real hard. And what does she do? She goes for like basic instinct. I got powers, use them and abuse them.
Bruh, she beat the bejesus out of Salinger. Like, I'm like, dog. Like, I mean, the first time I'm like, okay, I was expecting Jessica to do it, because again, I think that's what Salinger was trying to push for, was to kind of like break Jessica. But I think that is the shocker of the season, that Jessica kind of like, again, she grew as a character where she didn't fall into season 1 Jessica where she just shot from the hip and just did what she did, Right. And I think maybe that's what Salinger was trying to go for, and it ended up being Trish kind of going full tilt, power hungry, so to speak,
Yeah, and it's safe to say that, like, her character, when you say it off the rails, I mean, there's no other word to describe it, because I don't think anybody end up getting powers in a way that in any, I guess I feel like in short thinking, in any type of superhero story, somebody gets power and just go complete berserk in the act of saying I'm doing something good. Like, she gave it no chill. Like, she just was, and again, her career, sorry, her little QVC show that she got.
AKA the cover.
Like, that was doing good. She was doing record-breaking numbers. The studio was love her. Everything was fine. The mom relationship was good. I mean, Jessica thing was blowing her, whatever. But then she was just like, yeah, well, now I got powers. I'm going to train every day. She guess she was watching a few episodes of One Punch Man, thought she could just go out there and just wreck everything, and like she just went crazy, dude.
I mean, shout outs to the Easter egg of her in the comic book Wildcat costume. That was dope.
That's what I thought. As soon as I saw the cat, like the cat mask, I was like, yo, Wildcat. Wildcat. I mean, and then the costume, I'm like, yes. And that reaction she gave to him, I'm like, thank you. Almost every Marvel Netflix show has done a callback or an Easter egg to the comics.
I mean, because it's a shame, too, because, like, I was expecting her new, like, vigilante costume to kind of have some semblance of, that kind of color scheme of it, but it didn't. Because at least in Iron Fist Season 2, he wore the mask in the flashback with him and Davos fighting and stuff, but, like, in the present day, there's a bit of green and yellow in his, like, in the clothes that he's wearing, so it's like you see that there. But I mean, that's probably the only little nitpick and stuff. But like carrying over Season 2, they really emphasized the raft big time. Like, oh, so that's where they keep all the superpower people. But I'm like, Captain America did break out some people, so how tightly secure is that place now?
Not as secure as you think it is.
I mean, because Jessica's mom was supposed to go there last season, and didn't happen and stuff. But now Hellcat's gonna be there, safe and sound and stuff.
I mean, and that was also my kind of nitpick, was Trisha's choice of attire. Like, you're wearing street clothes.
She She didn't put no effort into
With the
this
face
thing.
mask.
She just knew
no
she had the
effort.
powers and she was
It wasn't
ready
even
to
a
go.
mask, and that's another thing. It wasn't even a mask. That was just literally a scarf.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's the complete idea of a cosplayer saying, "I really want to be Captain America," and they go right to Party City, and it's like, "Oh, this is what I need," and then they double thinking like, "Oh yeah, probably should have put a little bit more effort in this."
Yeah, gotta do that.
Now, I can see she took a whole bunch of costumes and said, you know what, I'm gonna go full seamstress mode and just start taking pieces of each costume that I like and put something decent together.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that, but you know.
I mean, she put no effort into it. I mean, zero. I felt so disgusted when I saw. I'm like, really? This is the costume? I'm like, boy, I can't wait to see the Jessica Jones cosplayers. If anyone's gonna be Trish, easiest costume ever.
Well, that's a whole nother discussion, but you know those are going to be on that because any escape routes for anything, people are definitely using them. Just like Carol Danvers and her shield undercover thing.
Oh God.
Yeah. If it's easily could be done, believe it's happening. So prepare for that one.
Yeah,
I'm already ready for it. I guess with the theme of her fighting Jessica in the dark, which I want to talk about. Hey Trish, why did you go into a decently well lit area after you already had the advantage of fighting her in the dark?
Well, again, this is why I thought the season was good. I think the psychology behind that's not the word I want to use. The what do you call it? But the kind of like the approach in constructing these characters. There's a word I was looking for there, but this will work. They stay very consistent. So again, she was just the fact of like wanting to build a relationship with Jessica, but also wanting to be, felt, important to her and wanted to have powers because Jessica didn't want her powers and whatever it may be, blah, 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 blah. That the fact that she wanted to take all this responsibility all at the same time, didn't know what she was doing. So she just made dumb decisions left and right. And it's good because unless you guys can think of something really quick, I don't think she did anything that actually was like ultimately smart.
not inherently.
No.
Even at the end, it just puts a nice little bow on it, and she said, "Whoa, I was a bad guy." Like, yes, motherfucker,
Yes, you were.
was.
I mean,
You
cause
were,
What are you talking about?
I mean,
what took you so long to figure that out?
But I mean, let's be real about this.
Handcuffs.
I mean, let's be real about this too. Consequences, because inherently Trish doing what she did is what got her mom killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really wanted them to do the first 48 with her at the end. I really wanted them to pass her the cigarette when she said that, and I was like, just give it to us, because at this point now, I feel like I need the cigarette because of how she gonna sit there and am I the bad guy?
Yes, you are. Like,
Dude,
what the
did you
fuck
not
are you talking about?
Did you not see how the cop looked at her and just went, God, I need a cigarette right now. Are you serious? Are you serious right now?
Yeah, it just.
But that's what I'm saying. Great power comes great responsibility, and and I think that's what Jessica was telling her in season 2. It's like, you're so obsessed of trying to have these powers because you don't want to be a weak person that you didn't really think about what's the long-term effects of all this.
Not only that, this whole season was like a nice, gritty take on the grass is always greener on the other side.
The grass is not always green on the other side. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The grass isn't always green on the other side. Thank you. Because think about it. Anyone who ever got their powers by accident or who didn't wish for powers, they knew how to handle it. And they knew, even when they didn't know how to handle it, they knew how to process and know where to go. But the ones who actively want it, they are a complete mess with it.
Yep. I mean, yeah. That's the basic gist of it all, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I said, yeah.
I mean, an utter mess. Like, Trish, you were wrong consistently, even back from season 2. You were wrong all the way up until this point.
Dead ass wrong. But yeah, and just the perfect cap of this season was essentially that voice from Kilgrave telling her to leave her friends behind, and the fact that she thought better of it and just said, you know what, I'm gonna stick around New York because I feel I have to stay here in New York and help out people. Which, like I said, the way it ended on a good note, but it's like, damn it, I wish we got season 4 because you're kind of like, man.
You wish we got a season 4, and that's something I wanted to point out. At that train station, notice that the purple light came on when she was about to touch the ticket, and that's when she heard Kilgrave's voice. I'm thinking, wait a minute, Kilgrave, you got your neck snapped. How are you alive?
I'm cool with it. He's still in her brain. I'm definitely cool with that.
And I'm like, okay. Like, again, I didn't want to think too hard into it. I'm like, well, maybe he's still in there somehow. So that was her own, I guess, like her own quote-unquote conscious in the voice of Kilgrave telling her, what are you doing? Go back to Alias. Why are you leaving the keys to Malcolm? You know that boy is still going through his own mess.
Well, he needed that anyway, because if you wanted to leave it with anybody and stuff, you might as well leave it to him. So
yeah, and also too, he does better when he's focused on something. In his spare time, he's done.
Is a mess.
He is done. I mean, he operates literally like he has like ADD, where he just has to be doing something, which is good because when he is doing something, he's really proficient about it. When it's come to reconnaissance and just any type of tactical missions, he handles it. So like it's fine. I think to just piggyback off your point is that Jessica Jones' whole trilogy as it is, the 3 seasons, like even for season 2 to not have been on par with season 1, in all together, it's really a really good series. And I know it's really easy to say I wish I had a season 4, but at least Jessica Jones, it was written in a way that even they might have felt prepared that maybe we may not get a season 4. So that season 3 ends at a point that it is satisfying. Not so much of a cliffhanger that I need to choke myself that we're not getting a season 4. Mm-hmm. So the possibilities of what's next will be amazing if we got some news about it. But, very satisfied with the 3 seasons we got. And ultimately, the only other series that got 3 was Daredevil. You put it toe-to-toe with it. If it wasn't for some of the action shots shot in Daredevil, if Daredevil's 1A, Jessica Jones is a 1B. Not a 2, but a 1B. Very, very, very close. The styles is different, but it tells a really, really good story.
Yeah. I mean,
not to mention that series having probably one of the best action sequences ever. That hallway fight scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I might do another show kind of culminating all these Netflix series and what we enjoyed about them and stuff, because that's definitely another episode that's deserving of us kind of deep diving into like what our hopes and what we loved about all these seasons and what we hope for the future and speculating and stuff. So, but
I do want to know, like, do you guys think that with Disney Plus coming out, because there's been talks left and right, and yes, we know that Kristen Ritter she's done playing Jessica Jones. She's ready to move on and do something else. And even if she was recasted as with a similar actress, and we somehow got a season 4, or better yet, we actually got the shows that Netflix canceled, they continued on Disney Plus. Would you watch them? Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say would you watch them. Of course you'd watch them, but I mean, would you watch them if they had to make numerous changes to the show?
Yes.
I mean, I watch it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I mean, we're left on a good feel, so the optimism, no matter what happens with the casting, is still there.
Yeah.
Right. It's like same stories being told, just different actors.
Yeah, and again, anybody can say they done. So that bank truck back up on them. So like, say what you want. That statement holds no weight in Hollywood.
Yeah. It really doesn't. God knows how many times have we seen this with other actors. I mean, Andrew Lincoln is probably the prime example of this. Oh, I'm done with Walking Dead.
But I'm just going to just be done with the show.
Like AMC backs up that.
Come holler at me.
AMC backs up that money truck, and here's another contract, 3-movie deal, and yeah, we're good.
Yeah. So, like I said, we'll see, because like I said, all of us are going to be at San Diego Comic-Con, so that's going to be interesting. What the rollout is going to be for Disney Plus and everything else and stuff. So I mean, we all speculated it, so I guess we can see what Marvel has under their sleeves with everything and stuff. But yeah, thanks guys for jumping in on this. And I guess that's it. So I guess we'll catch you guys later. Peace out.
Phoebe.
Perfect.